week 13 of the 2023 season. I am Nick, joined once again by Kevin.
What's up, Niner Nation?
Producer Brad, making it all go behind the scenes.
Hey.
And last but never, ever least, head coach Ashley Chastain. What's up, Coach?
Good afternoon.
All right. It's good to have the gang all back together. It's been a while. Kevin, you've been avoiding Coach or something. I don't know what was up with that, but we're all glad you're back, are we not?
Yeah, we've worked out our differences, and we're on good speaking terms now, so. No. Just kidding. We're good. We don't have any vacations or makeup games planned for tonight, so glad to talk some softball here.
Well, hey, this feels good, right? Reunited, and it feels so good. We got the gang all together here. So, Coach, you guys had a heck of a week, and you've got a huge week coming, and we're going to talk about every single bit of it. But we got a little something we got to do first. This is kind of a big deal for us here, boys. We're about to have our first player guest on the Diamond Niner Gals podcast. And I think if you're going to have a player guest and you're going to have your first player guest, you better start at the top. So I could read you all of these accolades. I could read you the whole freaking record book, but I'm just going to stop all that and say, check this out, folks. We got Bailey Boo Vanoy on the show with us. Check this out.
Hello.
What's up, Boo?
Hello. How are y'all?
Doing good.
We're great. Why would we not be great? We've got an All-American on the show. We had an awesome week of Niner Gal softball. I mean, what could we possibly complain about?
It's a good point. And then also more accolades today. Cassidy Crupitt, Player of the Week. Another addition to the week. I love it.
Hey, what are you trying to do? You trying to host a show here?
No. I was just shouting out my teammate.
No, that's great. Yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about that. We thought though to get started here, Boo, we just since we've never gotten you on film this way, we've just spent a little bit of time talking to you. I mean, my goodness, what a career it's been. I know you've got several more things that you want to accomplish, but man, do you ever just kind of stop and look back at what all's happened and think, man, what a ride? Or maybe you just haven't had time to do that yet.
I definitely have within the last, I think, 2 to 3 weeks. I have sat and been like, man, it's coming to an end, and there are a lot less days ahead of me. There are behind me, and so I think that it's really been an honor, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's kind of crazy how time has flown, and also just through the changes of the old coaching staff to new coaching staff to players that have worn the jersey and players that have been in and out of the program, the players that have stayed. I've been through a lot here, so it is a lot, but I don't think that it'll really, really hit me until senior weekend this weekend.
Speaking of wearing the jersey, this weekend you played in your 225th game in the Niner jersey, which is the most of anyone in 49er history. How's it feel to be the only one to put on the jersey 225 times in your career?
I think it's really special. I think that it just goes to show that coaches have continued to believe in me and have continued to just trust the process and allowed me to be who I am. And so I think that through all of that, it's a really cool honor that most people don't have. And so whoever it is next that's right behind me, they keep passing the baton to see how many players can stay in the program for as long as they can and do what they do really well.
Now, Coach Chastain, we're going to put you on the spot here and ask you to make a comment. When you walked in the door, right, you're the new head coach of the Charlotte 49ers. You're walking in the door and you're thinking, man, I got to get down there and figure out what I've got and what I need and this and that. Are you thinking at all, I've probably got an All-American hanging I'm probably just going to go down there and somebody's just going to like be an All-American. I mean, is that part of your thought process?
No, it was not for 1 second, to be completely transparent and honest. It definitely was a vision and a dream of the program and of mine taking the program over. But little did I know that she was already in the locker room. That's the special part about Bailey and her journey at Charlotte. I do remember when I got hired in June of 2019, Bailey was the first player I actually met in person in Charlotte. Her and her dad, Dale, they were in town not too long after I got into the office and made the move, and came by and just sat down and talked to me. And I think at that point she decided that she was going to stick it out and, to stay in Charlotte and, see what I was about and see what my staff was about that I was about to hire. And, and we're so grateful and forever indebted to her that she made that decision and that her family and her made that decision. But no, I did not expect, an All-American move within the first, really 2 full seasons, because, the first year we got cut out for COVID. And, Bailey had a really hot start to that 2020 year. But obviously we got cut out there halfway through. So, to have her reach All-American status by the 22 season, never in my wildest dreams did I think that, that was going to be the case. But like I said, I'm thankful for it and everything that she's done for the program. It's, it's really a coach's dream.
Bailey, we've heard from Coach on her perspective on taking over the program and that transition part from a coach's perspective. Can you give us a player's perspective on that coaching change and your transition from one staff to another?
Mm-hmm. So with the previous staff, I was recruited by, all of them had come and watched me and loved them to death. They were great people. And then got here, wasn't exactly what I was expecting college-wise as far as softball. The girls had kind of had pre-friendships and things like that. And so, especially because I came in the spring, and so it was kind of hard to get acclimated with some of the girls that had already been there a semester and been close to one another. And so I didn't really know. I kind of was tiptoeing in the water. I should have just dove right in and just called them my sisters from the beginning. But little 18-year-old Boo did not do that. And so I just said, all right, well, I'm just going to play softball, see how that goes. And didn't enjoy myself as much as I probably should have because I was really hesitant around the girls. And I remember telling my parents, this is not for me. I don't want to do this. I need to either leave or just hang up the cleats because I am not having fun. And I don't know if it's because I came in late or what it was, but I just did not enjoy myself. And so my dad said, well, you know what? If they get new coaches for whatever reason, or if you want to transfer, we'll support you. But I think that you're going to regret if you hang up your cleats right now. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to regret it. I'm ready. And the little kid in me, to a parent, of course, wants to prove the parent wrong. And so I didn't prove the parent wrong. And I listened to my dad. And next thing we knew, we were getting new coaches. And we were like, well, okay, now what do I do? Because the coaches that recruited me are gone. So we ended up sticking it out a little bit, wanted to see who was going to get hired. And then we saw reigning SEC pitching coach of the year. And I said, okay, well, she knows a little bit about softball and in the SEC. All right, she's going to bring some of that here. So why don't we just give it at least a year, see what that looks like? And so the moment I had my first conversations with Coach Ash, Coach Taylor, and Jody I was like, yep, these are my people. I already know. I feel like this is going to be really good for me. And obviously, like Coach Ash said, within the first season, just brought out of me another level of softball that I had no idea was even there until they brought it out of me.
So I think we're all glad that you listened to your dad. I've spent some time in the stands listening to your dad. He's a pretty wise guy. So that's a good thing. If you had to rate it, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I'm done, how close did you get to hanging up the spikes?
Probably an 8.5. I cried. There's a couple weekends where I sat in my dad's truck and I just absolutely cried and was like, this is not fun. Why do people play college sports? But I also didn't have anyone. I didn't go to anybody. I had people that I could have talked to. I didn't go to anybody. I didn't reach out to anybody about how I was feeling or anything like that. And so I just kind of suffered in silence, which is Coach Ash's number one rule. Do not suffer in silence. And so that was one of the biggest reasons why I realized that she was going to be very good for me as just an overall human before a player. And so once I started talking to other people about it, a lot of my friends that went and played in college, who are still playing in college like I am, said they had the same exact struggles that I did. Very sorry if that was loud. Had kind of similar struggles that I did and kind of trying to find the love of the game, but also putting in all the variables of moving really far away from home, being away from family, just having a different lifestyle than what you were used to. And so once I started talking about it to other people, then I was like, oh, okay, I am not alone in how I feel.
So as a follow-up to what you just said there, I like what you said about not suffering in silence. I think that's really insightful. If there's something going on, if there's something bothering people, it's like, what, it doesn't matter. That's valuable. Sports, life, work, whatever. It's better to talk things out than anything. But you talk about kind of being alone, a little isolated, coming from Texas to North Carolina. Walk us through that a little bit. How did that happen? How did a Texas girl find her way to North Carolina?
I actually was in a tournament at a D9 tournament, a Diamond 9 tournament, so very close to Diamond 9 report name, a D9 tournament in Florida. And so I was at a tournament, and it was I guess I'll backtrack a little bit more. I started getting recruited my 8th grade year. Visit that I ever went on was to the University of Arizona before rules really got into place. It was very loose. It was, hey, these coaches are interested. Our coaches pretty much set up visits and things like that. I don't even know if that was legal then, but here I am exposing people. So I went on an unofficial visit. They didn't pay for anything, so I guess I'm not exposing anybody. I went on an unofficial visit, and I realized whenever I got back that I was like, man, I am a whole 13, 14 years old, and I get zoned for a high school, and I have 5 high schools. I don't even know what high school I would go to around my area. So I got really overwhelmed, and I said, all right, let's put this to a halt. I just need to take a year or two to really figure out if this is what I want to do, if I love it. And so fast forward to the fall of my sophomore year of high school, and going into my sophomore year of high school, played in a D9 tournament, and I got a card from, the coach at the time gave her contact card to my travel ball coach and then gave it to me. And I said, who the heck is Charlotte, North Carolina? Like, where even is that? I have no idea, even in the state of North Carolina, where Charlotte is located. And so I just said, you know what? I'm not going to say no. And we'll just, with my dad always says, with new information, you make new decisions. And I had 0 information, so I could not make a decision on if I was just going to cross them out. And as the recruiting process went along, it was between Kansas and Charlotte. And I went to Kansas, and I was like, I am not a Kansas girl. This is just not for me. The campus is beautiful. The coaches, they were great. I got the red carpet treatment, came to Charlotte, and my dad still says to this day, I always wanted to be the bling, and I never wanted to be attracted to the bling. And that's why I didn't end up anywhere at like a Power 5. Not that Charlotte is not that, because that is very much the environment that we bring to the table. But I remember just saying, I don't want to just go to a big school just because. Like, I don't want to just fill out a jersey and not play because I love softball. And so that was a big part of the reason I want to make sure that I played somewhere. And Charlotte definitely guaranteed that was the case. And to this day, that has been the case.
Sounds like Niner fans owe a lot to your dad here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I wonder, Kevin, we have to figure out something. We have to, I don't know, we have to get Dale something, or, a parting gift or something.
Yes, I think that he has been like, man, I have a little sister that plays softball, and she's had a lot of fun with it. My dad's like, I got to be there every weekend. I only have so many games till you're not playing anymore. I don't know. Like it's fun, but like, man, I think I'm going to be sad. And I was like, I think you're going to be sad too.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, what would you? And I know you're kind of you're not really. We talked about reflecting. You've already started kind of looking back and reflecting on your career. Which, I mean, if we tried to read all the accolades, it would take the rest of the show. So we won't do that. But at this moment, like when you think back on the last handful of years, like what do you think about the most?
Oh gosh. I think, gosh, that's a hard question. I don't know, because a lot of people have asked me, oh, what's your favorite memories or what's something that's really stuck out to you? But I think something that I think about the most is just the people in general. I think that it starts with the top and who Coach Ash and Coach Taylor, Jody, CJ, who they are is going to attract people like them. And so when you have coaches that are people first and then coaches second, I think that you bring in a lot of people that just have a culture and a family bond like no other. And that's really hard to even duplicate in your friend groups and outside of sports teams. And I've never really had a group of girls that care so much about each other that when things get hard, when things get really messy, especially with girls, because they're very emotional, we are very emotional beings. When things get that way, they just say, you know what, like this matters a lot. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to get through it. And then we're going to be better in the long run because of it. And so I think whenever you have 23 players that are brought into that being really, really, really important, you get it leaks out everywhere. I mean, it gets to the weight room and other teams will be in there and it's like, man, you guys are really close. It's like, what do you guys do? And we're like, no, we literally just love each other so much. And they're like, what? Like, you guys only hang out with each other? And we're like, yes. Like, we're not lying. Yes. And so I think that is probably what I think about the most is just, you can't duplicate what we have as far as relationship wise. And when it starts there and you care about each other so much, you don't want anything but success for the person to the left and to the right of you. And so you just do everything day in and day out for not even yourself. You don't even think about it. It's quite literally impossible to think about yourself when you're surrounded by people that you just want to see succeed and be really successful at what they do because they work really hard. And so I think that's 100% what I think about the most.
And you actually started the show talking about one of your teammates. So team first, leader. Talk a little bit about this team in particular, how the season's gone, and where you see it heading in the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. I think that, our season's been absolutely stellar. We've had a lot of really awesome moments. Of course, we've had a lot of, well, not a lot, but a few not awesome moments, more awesome moments than not awesome moments. And I think that it has definitely been, we have not had any sort of break in our schedule whatsoever. I think that there's a couple games that we could have taken away that we didn't. And no, everybody knows that. That's no secret. And so I think that there's some moments where like, all right, that's disappointing, but we can still learn from it. How do we learn from it? What do we take from that and continue to grow? And I think that's what makes this team really special is that at any moment, good, bad, pretty ugly, we've taken and just learned from and have figured out how to apply it so we can be better the next time. And so because of that, we're going to be really successful within these next couple of weeks. Our expectation and our eyes are set on Greensboro tomorrow, and then senior weekend with UAB, which is a huge weekend for us, and everybody's going to feel the weight of that on our team especially. And then just setting a really good tone going into conference tournament. Everyone is pretty much laser focused on what our mission is, because at the end of the day, everyone is on the same page when it comes to mission focused and getting the job done.
So I want to give you a chance to tell everybody kind of what's next for you, Boo. But before I do that, I just curious, in your wildest imagination, did you ever picture yourself striding to the plate in probably one of the most consequential ABs of the season, a lot to play for, and going up there and dropping a sack bunt Was that on your bingo card for the 2020 season?
Actually, I would be lying if I said no, because I told Coach Taylor, I said, there's one thing that I have never done in my career, and I have never put down a sack bunt before. And I told Coach Taylor that I really wanted to by the end of the year, no matter what it looked like. And we hadn't talked about it recently, but I had casually mentioned within the last couple of weeks, man, I still haven't put down a bunt. And then whenever it happened, it kind of took me by surprise. And so I double checked to make sure that I was like, all right, but the bunt's coming. And I already knew that she was going to throw. We had scouted the pitcher and that it was going to go up. So I was like, okay, all I have to do is just get it into the ground. And then I was just really hoping that I could just celebrate really big on first, but instead I got trucked. So I was on the ground, but we scored. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, you got an RBI on it.
I know, yeah.
I mean, that was a great play. That was priceless. So why don't before we let you go, it is the last day of school tomorrow, and then finals week starting after that. Not to mention all this softball you're going to play this week. Why don't you tell everybody kind of what your future plans are and what you're thinking about doing?
Okay, so I have a USA tryout that I've been invited to. Never thought in a million years that would ever happen, and still cry tears of joy when I think about it and when I get emails about it. Just making my little boo's dreams come true is really cool, and really cool just being in the moment. And so I'm going to the tryout from June 12th through the 15th down in Florida, and then after that I find out if I make the team or not. And then depending on kind of what that looks like, I will be, if I don't make the team, probably going to go into a little pro play for the season or for the summer, kind of leaning towards just like some open options there. I don't really know kind of what that looks like, but just keeping my options open if people reach out to me saying that I'm interested. And so probably we'll be playing June and July, and then come August, probably will be finding an apartment in Charlotte. My hope and my desire is that I'm here still around the program, and that I'm still a key factor in kind of what they do if Coach Ash ever needs me for whatever reason, or, if she doesn't need me and I just want to stop by. I would love to just be within driving distance to come see the team and check in, because, obviously the huge part of just my life. And so I'm not ready to just leave. So I'll be around Charlotte come the fall, and then be playing a little bit come the summer.
Kevin, she might be hosting this show.
I've had a lot of heat on me.
She's already dropping news like, hey, Cass Group is the player of the week. I mean, this as she is demonstrating, Kevin, this ain't that hard.
Yeah, she is a natural. She's a natural. But yeah, we talked once, Bailey, at I think at the Uptown game, that you mentioned that one day you may want to be a hitting coach in MLB. Got aspirations to do that. Talk a little bit about that. That's pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, I think that's always been kind of deep in my heart of where I would like to go, and being an MLB hitting coach would just be absolutely amazing. Also keeps me in just the hitter's mindset. Obviously that's my love, and I just am a nerd about it, and I love knowing the way that the body works in order to have a really effective swing. And so, but not only that, but just like mindset wise. And I think that there's a lot of talent and high caliber thinking when it comes to collegiate athletes, but I'm really, really interested to know kind of how the big leaguers do it and what their mindset is, and kind of like how, like what they do when they struggle, or what they do whenever they're successful, or just things like that, kind of seeing what their routine is, seeing how I can help and advocate for people, because at the end of the day, my heart is really figuring out how to help others, but I just don't know how to categorize that and what capacity that looks like. And so what better way than to stay in softball or baseball and hitting? So I think that would be really cool if I could help others, especially people who are really, really good at what they do, that get paid a lot of money to be really good at what they do and still stay in the sport would be a lot of fun. But that is a dream that may never come true, and that is okay, but something that I think that I will always keep kind of my options open for.
Well, if anybody knows about swinging a bat, Boo, it is you.
Thank you.
We have seen you launch numerous home runs out of the Sioux. We've even seen you hit one out of the Hayes. We've got the video to prove it. And trust me, folks, that video that y'all have seen that got shared around, there were a lot of young fellas out there that were doing their best that could not quite get a ball out of the Hayes, and she showed them up. So it was pretty cool deal. Well, Boo, we appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you being our first player guest. How about that? And man, more than anything, we just appreciate everything you've done for Charlotte, for the softball team, for the athletic department, and for the city in general.
Well, thank you. Thank y'all. It means a lot. There's quite literally, I just said it to Coach Ash yesterday because we were playing my last away conference game. And I said, as far as regular season, I said, Coach Ash, it's been an honor. I'm so glad. I wouldn't want to wear any other jersey. I said, we're not done, but it's been a lot of fun so far. So.
Yep, keep putting the jersey on. Hopefully put it on several more times in the next few weeks. But congrats on all your accomplishments, and we appreciate you representing our university.
Yep. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Boo.
You're welcome.
All right. So, gosh, how do we – Coach Ash, you got to follow that.
I know, right? She's pretty special. It's it's a joy and an honor to be around her every day. And just as much as she talks about how, the staff has taught her things, I mean, she's taught us a lot too. I think that's one of the pieces that the players miss in their development and their growth over the 4 or 5 years that we get to be around them almost every day. They teach us so much about ourselves, and they grow me and grow Taylor and Jody and every other staff member that we've had. So it's been a two-way street with that one, and she's really special, and we're going to miss her a lot. And I do hope that she sticks around in Charlotte so that we can, still see her and she can still be involved as much as possible. Well,
and Boo did she did provide an appropriate segue there. We'll start with your big week. We'll start with the awards first. Cass Crupitt did win her second Hitter of the Week, Conference Hitter of the Week award this week. You only have her down for batting .571, double home run, 4 RBIs, couple of runs at the plate. My goodness. Boo has meant so much to this program for so many years, and Cass has come in the 1 year she's here since transferring in, and she's making quite a mark herself.
Yeah, I know the staff and we talk about that all the time, just about how, what if we had Cass Crupitt for more than one season? So that's a thought that's constantly on my mind. And I don't know if I've ever told you guys this before, but, Cass and I go way back. It's kind of a full circle moment for me and her to be able to, be in the same program, because I recruited Cass in like 2014, 2015 time frame when I was an assistant at College of Charleston. And went through the recruiting process. She has some photos of her and I on a recruiting visit back then. We both look a lot younger. But yeah, I mean, just what if we had Cass for as long as we've had Bailey? I mean, just what a duo and a pair in the lineup that would have been over the years. But, I think we just celebrate having Cass now, and, believing everything happens for a reason. And her journey to get to Charlotte and be a Niner, set her up for the year that she's having and the growth and the maturity that she has experienced as a young person and as a softball player. And she's been such a consistent force for us all year. And she is the absolute best to have in the locker room. I mean, her and Boo most of the time are joking and laughing and dancing and, just being themselves in the locker room together. And, we're truly honored and grateful for Cass for being with us this year. And I'm so glad she got Player of the Week this week. I was going to scratch my head if it wasn't her, of how it could be somewhere else. Her week started at North Carolina last Wednesday, and she had a 2 RBI night, big night for us up in Chapel Hill, and just kind of rolled with it from there to Ruston and La Tech. And, she had a stellar week. And something I think that goes a little bit under the table with Cass is just how she plays first base. A really good first baseman is really key to a good defense, especially a good infield. And it's a really tough skill set. It's a really specific, individualized skill set. And gosh, like the way that Cass has played first base for us all year has been incredible. So I'm proud of her. She deserves it. And I'm excited to see her play over the next couple weeks.
Yeah. As much as she's contributed to the team this year, I'm surprised you guys still won't trust her with the aux cord.
Yeah, that's just because you never know what you're going to get. I mean, it is just like, it is all over the place. I mean, she honestly usually does have the aux cord. That's why I said that. We're on the bus and all of a sudden some song plays. It's crazy. She's got a little bit of a taste for all types of music, and you never know what it's going to be.
So, and neither here nor there. I mean, she's had a fantastic season. I was actually looking this up today because I was fully prepared to campaign for Cass Crupitt Player of the Year. And I mean, she's had a season that deserves it. I will be honest though, and people that listen to this show know the young lady at MTSU, Meagler, has had just a phenomenal season. So I don't know how that's going to shake out. And there's still games left to be played. But if you go to Conference USA's website and start looking at offensive stats, it's probably either going to be Cass Crupitt or Laura Meagler at MTSU. And in most rankings, they're 1 and 2 and or certainly both in the top 3 or 4, having a pair of fantastic seasons. Of course, I think we have 3 votes. Our producer Brad 4 votes for Cass Crupitt right here, but I don't know. Yeah. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that plays out. But and I think it's safe to say that pretty much any other season, Cass would probably be a shoe-in. But it's going to be a tight race going down the stretch. So just have to see how it plays out. So let's get into this week. You guys went 3-1. Sorry, you gals went 3-1. Let's talk about that game at Chapel Hill, also known as the Taylor Wyke Invitational. You went up there and took that game 3-2. And quite honestly, Coach, I'll let you comment on the individual performances, but it felt like you guys were in pretty much in control of that game the whole time. I never felt like you weren't not going to win. Yeah, I felt that too. Our game is so crazy and it's a lot of fun. You never play one game exactly like another. That's kind of the beauty of it in a lot of ways. So there are games where you start and you just are like, you have it from the beginning and you just feel like, just from the very first pitch that the game is yours. And then there's other games where you don't feel like that. And there's games where, you find that feeling along the way, depending upon what's happening. But I agree. I felt like from the very beginning of the game, we were just really dominant. I think we went up there on a mission. And, that's kind of become a special game for us on our schedule, not only because of Taylor and, it being her alma mater, but I think just the pride of the state, competing in North Carolina and us being in Charlotte. And so it's been a special matchup on our schedule the last couple of years. And, like I spoke to and alluded to earlier, offensively, Cass had a great night. She had multi-hits and 2 RBIs, and I believe Cass is on pretty significant hit streak right now, games
our SID and I were talking about that last night. So, she continues to come through for us. So I thought that she did really well. Lexi Wagner, I would just be remiss to not talk about her. I mean, if you look at her conference stats right now, Lexi Wagner is just really come on for us offensively, hitting right around 300, It was a tick above 300 throughout the weekend at La Tech, and I think it's right at 300 right now in conference. And I know North Carolina was a non-con, but she had a hit for us that night. She's just been really strong, in April for us now going into May, which has been a huge part of the bottom of our order. And, she's played a heck of a center field for us. And, I think after a bye weekend and after a little rest, giving Sam Gress the ball on Wednesday at Chapel Hill, just kind of set the tone for us in week 12, coming off our bye weekend last weekend. And she was fantastic through 7 full innings for us. And, looked like her usual self, super dominant on the mound, great mentality, really confident. Her stuff was working really well. And I think a highlight for me as a team, it would just be the way that we played defense. I mean, North Carolina, small ball, they run, they slap. They just do so much to put in motion in the box. And we really challenged our defense to shut that down. And that would be a huge reason of why we were successful walking away from Chapel Hill. And that they rose to that challenge. And that's something I love about this squad is just how they respond when they're challenged. They did that again this weekend at La Tech. They had to respond after they lost game 1. So, it was just a really cool atmosphere. There was a lot of people there. We had a lot of fans. Chapel Hill had a lot of students there. It was a great night for the Niners, and it really set us up beautifully going into Reston, Louisiana.
Coach, I got to say, whenever you guys do that 49ers chant on the road, I really like that a lot, especially to see it done at that place on Wednesday night. That was really awesome to see, and I went back and rewound it a couple times and watched it. Just because I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's special. And, we wouldn't be able to do that without a great following. Those are things you can't do unless you have people in the stands. And so I think just the following that we've gotten this season, the support, people come and see us play, the parents, the families, the friends. It just means so much that after a victory in Chapel Hill that we can chant 49ers on their field and it be loud and proud. I mean, those are special moments. And I think once the page is turned and the book is closed on this 2023 team, for me personally, we all know that's going to be weeks from now. But when it's all said and done, those are going to be some of my moments that I remember is us, chanting on their field and, just all the support and the following that we had all year.
Kevin, that was a great moment too. I also really enjoyed the entire broadcast with the Homer announcer that had no idea that they were the underdog. If we had played a drinking game where you took a shot every time he said Power 5, you would have passed out by the 3rd inning. Power 5. Who cares? We went 3 in a row now. Take a look at the records. Take a look at the RPI. Take a look at where you're at in the conference standings, for God's sakes.
Well, a lot of those times, to his credit, he was talking about how many Power 5 wins we have accumulated this year. So I'll gladly take a shot to that.
Well, and they could add one more right here.
It's
whatever.
It's funny. I go back and watch the games. Sometimes the broadcast is on, sometimes it's not, because we do a lot of pregame prep with those announcers and broadcasters just so that they have information to call the game with. But a lot of times I don't even rewatch the game with that on. I just watch the pitches or the cut film or whatever it is. But I got several text messages after our Chapel Hill win that were specific to how many Power 5 wins that we've had on the season. So now I know why.
and it's all posturing. They've really beat and because he knew the L was coming, so I got to make this sound as good as possible. So when it gets here, well, this is a good team, and they'd really like to beat a Power 5 program, another Power 5 program like us. Yeah, whatever. You aren't even one of the toughest teams on our schedule. Go away. But I digress, Kevin.
Let's talk about the weekend.
Let's talk about the weekend.
All right, big, huge road series at La Tech. You go down Friday. Well, you went down Thursday, and Sam Gress pitched 6 innings, 400 runs. You got homers by Boo and Ashley Washington. But you said after the game you kind of missed a few opportunities early on. It kind of came back to bite you a little bit, and you lost a Friday night game, kind of put your backs against the wall for the weekend. Talk a little bit about Friday's game, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, Friday's game was super disappointing, obviously. Just I think to lose game 1, to put yourself in that situation, you just don't want to start the weekend like that. I thought Sam gave us a chance to win. We scored first, and they answered right back in the third. And then they just had a big moment. I'm looking here to see what inning in the bottom of the 5th. It was the bottom of the 5th, and they got a couple runners on, and they just had a kid that had a big moment that hit the ball out, and we just weren't able to recover from that. It just kind of came down to that one pitch, that one swing, and that's just the game that we play. And we walked away pretty fired up, to be honest with you, that we couldn't get the job done. And I just challenged them to stay together, to stick together more than they ever had this season, and to be tougher than they ever had, yet this season, and go out and still win the series on Saturday and Sunday. So we had some really intense, really powerful conversation post-game Friday night, and they responded beautifully the rest of the weekend. But La Tech had a big moment, and we just couldn't bounce back from that momentum, and we didn't score anymore after that. So, but Sam gave us a chance to win. I mean, week 12 of season, the Chapel Hill through the La Tech series, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out Sam Gress. Just, the sassy pony was super gritty. Honestly, the grittiest I've seen her yet this season. She pitched 27 innings for us in week 12 of the season. So pretty incredible to see her throw so much last weekend. She threw all but 3 innings at La Tech.
So exactly what is Sam's arm made of anyway?
I know, right? That's I guess it's bionic. I didn't know that recruiting her, but here we are, figuring out that it's, superhuman. But no, she just Eric McKibben, who you had on the baseball show a couple weeks ago in the fall, he told me that Sam Gress lifted with a little hate in her heart. And, now I know that she pitches with a little hate in her heart too. Maybe that's in her arm.
I've been told that's how I host podcasts.
There you go.
You could tell that last segment a little bit. The hate starts coming out a little bit. Yeah.
I'm gonna grab my candid moment here for Niner Nation. I'm gonna grab my computer charger. Those that know me know that my devices are constantly dying, and that's my situation right now. So excuse me a minute. You guys keep going. I'll be right back.
I think you should probably do that. Yeah. Well, Kevin, whenever I do that though, it's your job to rail me in. So, you're a little out of practice. It's okay.
Well, I'll let you go a little bit on that, but that's okay. I knew you were coming back. I knew you were coming back.
Well, for those of you who have not been, Kevin and I have been doing this together for a long time. First year of the softball show, but sometimes we make our feelings known about certain institutions, fan bases, whatever.
It's mainly when we don't have adult supervision.
It's mainly when we don't have adult supervision. There's an epic Marshall rant on the baseball show from last year that if you know, you know. That was a lot of fun. All right,
I remember that one. I'm back. Yeah.
You remember you watched that episode?
I did watch the Marshall episode. It's hard to forget.
People
Yeah, that was good.
talk about that, and I'm like, I don't know. I was just telling the truth. So, I mean, anyway, you're all good now, Coach. You're good to go.
I'm good. I apologize. I'm good.
Okay. So let's talk about let's lump Saturday and Sunday together and kind of view them as one response, because you talked about you guys had some kind of honest conversations after Friday night and some direct conversations about what you were looking to do, and basically what you come back with is 16 innings. Between the two games, going 9 on Sunday. But the gals come back and you outscore them 11-2 by my count over the two games. And really, you also said earlier in the show that no two games are ever alike. Saturday was you guys just kind of, maybe you came out, maybe y'all played a little angry, and took control of the game and won 8-1. And then Sunday was just the game that wouldn't end. Neither team wanted to give an inch, and it just it felt like you might still be playing. I know you guys had a travel deadline, but you were just an inning or two probably away from your travel deadline.
Oh yeah, we were. We finished the game a little after 3:30, and our drop dead time was 4. So the girls did not know that our drop dead was 4 o'clock. So they decided to make it super interesting and, push it till almost the minute. But there about 3 o'clock, I started looking at my watch during the game and kind of nudging Taylor. I'm like, we got to figure this out. We're going to get to the travel deadline, which one of the umpires' travel deadline was also 4 o'clock. So it was kind of a 4 o'clock halt on all ends in Ruston yesterday. But yeah, I mean, I think our response on Saturday really kind of speaks for itself. I mean, we scored first. I think kind of feeling the same feeling I had when we played Chapel Hill on Wednesday, like from the first pitch, I really felt like we had it from the beginning. And we had three innings where we scored multiple runs and just a lot of hits, like just a really fantastic offensive performance top to bottom. And I just have really been loving the resilience of some of our hitters. It's like they'll have a bad at bat or they'll struggle against a certain pitcher that we face. And, they continue to work hard and continue to get back in the box and come through in big moments. And, Ella Chansey comes to mind, someone that whenever she struggles, like she gets right back up. And then, Sunday she had a big moment, a big hit for us to go ahead and score 2 runs there late in the game Sunday to get us not only the winning run, but a little bit of insurance going into the bottom of the 9th, which was huge for Sam Gress at that point, who had thrown, 26 innings in a matter of 5 days. So I just love what they're doing. They're so tough, and I can't speak enough about their toughness. But I think we played great defense in Ruston. That's something I've just been talking a lot about. But our middles, Savannah Wynn and Corey Hoffler, the plays that they're making. I think about yesterday, Cass Krupit picked a ball at first to end an inning. Makes it look easy, but it's not. It's not easy at all. And really proud of Michaela Mitchell, the way that she's been coming in and having some really good at-bats for us here the past 2 conference series and playing really good defense in left field. We're kind of rotating her and Anna Devereaux situationally in left right now. So it's just a team effort, it's a group effort. And I've spoken a lot about Sam Gress's performance at La Tech. But the 3 innings that Lena Elkins threw in Saturday's game, once we got the lead, we threw Lena out on the field and she threw 3 complete innings for us. And she looked fantastic. She hadn't seen the field since the North Texas series. And, she went out and she looked great. Those 3 innings that she took off of Sam Gress was definitely a turning point for us in the weekend, an opportunity for us to rest Sam and get her in the dugout, and kind of set her up to succeed on Sunday. So just it goes to show you that, it's a group effort with the Niner gals all the time. And we've been having some big pinch hit moments from Kaya Garrett still coming in big situations at the plate. And then obviously Cass Crouppen had just a heck of a performance offensively as she got Player of the Week this week. So I could sit here and probably speak about each player individually and something that I really love about what they're doing, but that's May for you. Today's May 1st, and we're now officially in postseason month for, NCAA softball. And, I love what every single person on the team is bringing to the table right now.
Coach, on last week's show, you mentioned you were going to play on turf, and I just noticed from a picture there that just reminded me of that. How was the playing surface? You guys are going back down there for the conference tournament. How was that? How did you guys react to that playing surface?
It was great. They have a beautiful facility. Tragically, they had a couple tornadoes, or a big tornado a couple years ago, where they got brand new facilities. And I can't speak enough about how nice their facility was. It was incredible. It's a great place to play. And it's a great place to have a conference tournament, which we're looking forward to going back to, like you said. But we got in late Thursday, and we ended up going to practice for an hour Friday morning. So Friday morning at 9:30, the Niner gals rolled into, La Tech Stadium, and we just took ground balls for about an hour. We swing a little bit, but just ground balls for an hour for them to get used to the turf. For me, the turf played really well. It played really true. The hops are really true. It played a tick faster, I think, than dirt does. So it was nice to, get them some ground balls Friday morning. But we loved it. We loved it. And I think that the girls really loved it too. And, they had a lot of confidence with taking some balls on the surface Friday morning, going into the series Friday night. And kind of the way that our schedule's set up, I am really happy that we just played there. Now going back, we go back next Monday, May 8th. We'll fly back to Shreveport and make the hour drive to Ruston for the conference tournament. And, I'm really glad we just left. So it won't be long before we're right back in the same hotel on the same field, which I think will be really good for us.
Now, Coach, piggybacking on that about the turf, after the game yesterday, Sam got I don't know if y'all, probably water instead of Gatorade, but she got one of those iconic Gatorade baths. But it looks like it was going to happen out on the circle. And what was going? Were you guys down there like, hey, don't do it on the field, don't do it on the field, because she got off the field, and as soon as she got off the field, then she got then she got hit.
Yeah, honestly, what happened there was so the bench grabbed the Gatorade cooler. It was water, not actually Gatorade. And so somehow the Gatorade cooler got in the hands of Kaya Garrett. And so I think it was a little bit heavier than she anticipated. And so she got out there and she was trying to dump it on Sam. And then Sam kind of was like, not running, but she was kind of circling the team, like high-fiving everyone. It was, seconds after we had won the game, and emotions were really high on the field still. And so I think Kaya ended up chasing Sam around the field a little bit and ended up dousing her on the foul line instead of in the circle. And that might have she got right to her and then realized it was heavier than she expected and couldn't quite get it turned over. So, never a dull moment with us.
Oh, that was awesome because fortunately the camera was still on.
Awesome.
So you could see that happen, and then you even got to see and hear the 49er chant, which has become so familiar on road fields everywhere. Pretty cool stuff. But with the time we got left, Coach, we got to talk about this week. I don't want to rush you through talking about UNCG because you guys, this is a bounce back match against UNCG on Tuesday night up in Greensboro. But let's talk about UNCG for a moment so that we can get to this weekend and talk about some let's say some big implications. Yeah,
I think you spoke to it. I think tomorrow at UNCG is a little bit of a revenge tour for the Niner gals. They came down to our place a couple weeks ago and we didn't get the job done. And so I think we've got just a little bit of a bad taste in our mouth with them. And so, that's what it's about. We get on a bus, go up there and beat UNCG at their place. It's a big game for us. It's a big resume game for us. We're well into our last 10 at this point. And how you play the last 10 matters a lot when it comes to postseason decisions and us going into the conference tournament. So really excited to see the girls kind of get after it with Greensboro. It's, a little bit of a revenge tour tomorrow. We didn't really hit that great. Sam pitched and she gave up more hits than she had and possibly a few times all year. We didn't capitalize very well when we played them at our place back in, was it late March, early April? It's been about at least a month ago. So I'm excited about it. I think it'll be a good setup for us going into the week and just everything that's at stake for us over the weekend here with UAB.
So after that, and for Niner fans looking at it, it does not appear right now there's a way to watch that game.
Yeah, I just looked on their website. It looks like ESPN Plus is going to carry it.
Okay, good.
And it's also Bark in the Park Day at UNCG, so there'll be some dogs there.
Bring your pup.
Yeah, so head out and see the Niner gals and bring your pup. So, hey, Betsy can just ride along.
Yeah, that's so true. She's laying here next to me and she probably just heard you say that. So she's now expecting to be on the trip. Thanks.
Good job, Nick. Good job, Nick.
She can hang out in the dugout. I don't see why not. So
she has been to a fall game. She went to Duke with us in the fall and then had a little bit of a babysitter during the game. But we'll see about tomorrow. I'm not sure.
Sounds like Nick was volunteering.
Let me know.
Hey, look, Kevin, have you and I not both done all kind of interesting things for the Niners? We just add dog food to the list. Why not? So let's move on to this weekend. Tuesday is definitely, as you say, a resume opportunity, but this weekend is a championship opportunity.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit about this before we hit the record button to see if we all had our math right. But you mentioned I don't remember if it was last week's show or that maybe it was 2 weeks ago, but you mentioned how important it was to control your own destiny. And you do, because if the gals win 3 this weekend, no matter what anybody else does, gals win 3 this weekend, you're regular season champions.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely, it's a big statement. But I think that's what this season has been for us as a program. It's been a big season. And so it's kind of like, a little bit, of course, the last weekend would be like that. It was like, hey, let's go out and win 3 and win the regular season conference championship. And, that's something that this team really set out to do from the beginning when we started on this journey in August and writing the story together, was that they wanted to be Conference USA champions in our last season here in the conference. So, the focus is definitely for us to sweep. I don't want to shy away from that statement with our team. I think, our ladies know that. They know that that's what we're on a mission to do this weekend, and we're going to have to do it one game at a time and be very intentional about every pitch. And our focus is going to have to be really good every inning. And, more than anything, we're going to have to play with a ton of guts and play really hard and honor our seniors this weekend and go out on a really high note, winning a championship at the Sioux. This senior class is so special, and they're so special to me. And I just could not imagine another way of sending them off in the regular season than a regular season championship at the Sioux. That would just be just a storybook ending to the careers and the influence and the impact they've had on this program.
So now, Kevin, we were again going through scenarios here, and you were checking my math on this. We said sweep. Obviously, that's simple. But if the Gals win 2 of 3, and North Texas loses a game in their series, North Texas could potentially sneak back in here and win it with a sweep of their own. And the Niner Gals, even winning 2 out of 3, they could wind up with the championship, we think, with all these different tiebreaker scenarios. But Kevin, you and I have said in a lot of sporting events, when is the last time that we had a weekend quite like this, where it was like, I mean, hardware was on the line? I'm trying to think of something comparing it to, Kevin, and you're the encyclopedia between us. Can you recall a weekend like this one?
I can't off the top of my head.
I'm not coming up with
I remember battling for seeds head to head going into the last weekend, but I don't remember battling for a regular season trophy, a regular season championship on our home turf to end the season. That's a pretty unique opportunity, and it's going to be special.
And now, again, I looked this up, but if I read the record book correctly, this would be the Niner Gals' first conference championship since 2006, and would be only the second one. It's just 2006 for the history of the program, and that was the Atlantic 10. So this is pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for all of those fun facts.
Yeah.
Did you not know that?
No, I did know that. Yes, I did know that. It is. It's a special time. I can't wait for the weekend, and I just want our girls to play with such conviction and play hard. And I just believe in them so much that, I believe we're going to walk away exactly what we set out to do, which is conference champions. And I urge everyone listening, everyone get to the Sioux this weekend as much as you can. It's going to be electric, and we need you all in the stands. That I think the 49ers chant at the end of each of these games is going to be pretty awesome. You're not going to want to miss that.
Which day are y'all honoring seniors?
Saturday.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Saturday pregame, we'll have our 6 seniors being honored before the game gets going. And then Saturday postgame, we're doing a big cookout in the parking lot.
Oh, nice. Down at the field house.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So those game times at the Sioux this weekend: Friday night 6:00, Saturday 1, Sunday 1. All games available on ESPN Plus. But if you are within driving distance, don't even mess with the ESPN Plus. Come on out, because hey, it's championship weekend. So let's get some dubs and let's get some hardware.
Great. I do have to make a correction on that schedule. So today, actually, we changed the Sunday game to a noon start, and that is, it just hasn't been changed on the website yet. They're working on that, but we have to move up because UAB's flight schedule changed, and we do not want to have any sort of drop dead implication or we don't want to run into any situation where we could not finish the game on Sunday. So we are going to start at noon on Sunday.
I'm sure that was an easy conversation for both coaching staffs to have.
It was. Yeah. We'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah. Let's settle this on the field. Not like that.
Yes.
One thing I will say, and it's worked out nicely, Coach, is that when you guys had to cancel to weather one game against MTSU, you always worry. Kevin, you might remember the year. I don't. It seems like that actually in the Atlantic 10 during baseball season one year actually kind of bit us, where we ended up having a game rained out. But as it turns out, it looks like losing that game is not going to impact you in any way.
No, I don't think so. it doesn't seem like it's going to. And, of course, that was a little bit of our worry when it happened. You just don't want it to come down to something like that. But, at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to affect us. And there's really nothing we could have done that weekend to play that game. If you guys remember, that was the rainiest weekend in Charlotte history, it seemed like. We played 2 games on Thursday, and then Easter was that Sunday. We could not have played a game really probably until Monday. So, that was.
Now my battery's low, Coach. Keep talking.
See, it happens to everybody.
It does. It does.
But yeah, we're not really upset about losing that game. And fortunate enough, it doesn't look like it's going to affect us in any way. So,
Right. Well, I'm with Boo. She said, go ahead and win all 3 and don't have to worry about the scenarios and all that. So that's my stance. That's my stance on it.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the message I have for him. We've been talking a lot about that the last month, in April, of just controlling our own destiny and, staying in the driver's seat and, just continuing to control what we can control, which is everything we can possibly do to win the game. And every time we do that, we come out victorious. And, when we don't, we usually falter in some way. So I'm really excited to see them compete. It's going to be chippy, gritty, just a really great weekend at the Sioux. And like I said, I urge you to come out and be a part of it.
All right, Coach, we're out of time. My computer's plugged in, so I get to finish. It was getting iffy there for a second. You ever plug your computer in and realize that it's not plugged into the wall?
That does happen to me, yes.
That's what I did. I'm like, it's plugged in. Oh, it's not plugged into the wall. All right. Well, I think that's all we have time for today. This has been a fun show. It really has. That's what happens when you've got like championships on the line and All-American interviews and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. So we appreciate all of you for tuning in. If you enjoy the content, think about subscribing to the YouTube channel. Click the notify bell to be notified of new content. You can also find us on Spotify. Hit us up on social media as well. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, never TikTok. We love hearing from you all. Feedback, comments, questions, etc. Always welcome. We also love talking to you guys out at the ballpark, and we will definitely be at the Sioux this weekend. So if you're old-fashioned like we are, just say hello in person. Thanks to Bailey Bouvanoy for dropping by. That was awesome to have her on, and cannot wait to see her play her final weekend at the Sioux this weekend. So for Kevin, for producer Brad, for head coach Ashley Chastain, this is Nick saying, we'll see you at the Sioux.
See you at the Sioux.